ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय Ramakrishnaय te Namaha. My salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who descended on this earth to establish the Dharma, who is the embodiment of all the world religions, and who is the best among the incarnations. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, we were discussing Bhavamukha, the important concept in Sri Ramakrishna's life and also in every incarnation's life. So after reading last one or two lectures, a devotee, he or she was asking, Swamiji, don't you think that you are over-exaggerating? Or you are exaggerating or you are over-exaggerating? I said, fine. What do you mean by that? Or what point you felt that I'm over-exaggerating? Like you said that Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, divine, no doubt. But we have not understood, most of us are to understand, it needs a lot of time, we have to study deeply, etc., etc. Then I said, my dear, it is not my words, it is Swami Shardanji's words. Then she asked, can you explain or can you give the explanation or the commentary, your own commentary about the Swami Shardananda's statements? I said, I shall reserve for my next week talk, I thought. Then today, that's how I will be discussing 3 or 4 stories from monk's life, which will give a bird eye view how difficult to understand incarnation's life and as well as actions. The first and foremost is simple thing, and it is very simple and but very profound. Holy Mother was in Jairambati. Whoever has read the life of Holy Mother again deeply, they all know that when she was in Calcutta, she used to follow so many norms and rules and regulations. But when she was in the village, in her birthplace, birth village, that is Jairambati, she was more free woman. And there she used to cook, she used to sweep, mop, serve, and clean the leaves, every type of work she used to do. And also people were in and around of madcaps, are very selfish people, mean-minded people. So one of the very ordinary women, how she can live in the family life. So such from the external appearance, that life was led by Holy Mother. Similarly, a devotee who had a lot of respects, reverence to Holy Mother, she observed all that. And she asked, Mother, you are the universal mother, I have no doubt, but you are leading such a ordinary life. How can you lead this? And Holy Mother says, and she made a beautiful statement then and there itself. You show me one more woman who can live ordinary life more than me. It is so simple, and but it is very profound. She's telling, show me one more woman who can live the ordinary life or more ordinary life than me. The devotee was spellbound and she was unable to answer. So the teachings of the avatars incarnations will be so simple, so profound, but at the same time, it is very deep. Why? Because when you read Sri Ramakrishna's teachings in the gospel, it looks so simple and it is very colloquial also sometimes, especially when you read in the original language, in the Bengali language. Whereas when you read Swami Vivekananda's teachings in complete works, he quotes Eastern philosophy, he quotes Western philosophy, he quotes psychology, he quotes Indian history, Western history, so many things. So from that angle, Sri Ramakrishna's teachings look so simple. No doubt it is so simple, but it is very profound. It is very difficult for us to understand. I will give 2 or 3 examples. Apart from the Holy Mother's life, Swami Tapasyanji Maharaj. He was one of the vice president of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission. And he was also the president of the Ramakrishna Mutt, Chennai, southern part of India. And basically, he is from Kerala, southern part of India. For most of the time, he spent in Trivandrum or Thiruvananthapuram. Today, you see a big hospital there, Ramakrishna Mission Hospital, that was developed by him. When he was 60 plus, which is a retirement age for a common man, so that is during that time, Swami Vireshwarananji, the president, he asked Tapasyananji to take charge of the Chennai Mutt. Tapasyananji said, Swamiji, whole of my life I was in the hospital and looking after the hospital and building up what. And the Chennai Mutt, it is a very big institution, and it is very prestigious. Like it is a southern part of Belur Mutt, South Belur Mutt, we can say, and it has got a lot of rituals and other things. And I don't think I fit in there. And it is too difficult for me in this age to come and to get adjusted. Then Viresh Vani said, yes, my dear, it may be difficult for you. And do you think that this president job, whatever I am occupying, is it easy for me? It is also difficult, but I am doing it the service of master. So I think you can also make. I think you can also make it. Please come and take charge of the Chennai Mutt. When the president Swamiji ordered or asked him, so he said yes, and he came back. He came and he took charge. The interesting part is he never looked back towards Trivandrum Center. What is happening, whether the projects, whatever he started, whether it is going on or whatever. And maybe a few years over, there is a trustee and is also vice president. A devotee, sincere devotee, old devotee, he approached Swami Tapasyanji and he said, Swamiji, we request you to come to take prasad, to have prasad in our house one day. Tapasyanji said, sorry, I cannot come, I will not come. He was very strong and very clear also. Then the devotee kept quiet. He said, Swamiji, why don't you consider, please, only one time, and whatever you want, however you want, we will do, etc. But Tapasyanji said no. Then after a few days, again the devotee pestered him. So the monks and the brahmacharis or the devotees who were there, who witnessed this, they were thinking, Array is such a good devotee and a old devotee, and such a nice person. He is asking so much, and why can't Maharaj goes one day and have a prasad in their house, devotee's house? But out of respect, all of them kept quiet. Then this request was time and again, quite a few times, the devotee made the request to Maharaj. After several requests, one fine day, Tapasyanji agreed, okay, all right, I shall come at 4 p.m. Not lunch, not for lunch, not for dinner. Only I will come at 4 p.m. You may give a glass of milk or maybe little fruits or whatever is okay for you, can give, but not the lunch and dinner. Then the devotee said, at least Maharaj agreed for this. It is okay. He agreed. And one fine day, Tapasyanji went, and the devotee was very happy. With all respect, he welcomed, and he gave a glass of milk. And while having the milk, the devotee asked, Swamiji, if you don't mind, can I ask a question? Tapasyanji said, yes, well and good. Why are you reluctant to come for lunch or dinner for my house? Is there any reason particularly? I would like to know. See, one side, Tapasyanji spent most of his time in a mission center where he was doing all service activities. And apart from that, he has given a lot of contribution for the Vedanta literature. He has written quite a few books, very scholastic books. When we read his books, we will all feel that he is very great gnani. He's a great intellectual, great scholar. He was no doubt. And the Tapasyanji gave a wonderful answer or reply to that. My dear, by the infinite grace of Shri Thakur, that is Master, I am getting the offered prasad every day afternoon and every day night. And by coming to your house, why should I miss that? So I don't want to miss the prasad which I am getting in the monastery every day. This is a great blessings for me, so I don't want to miss it. That is the reason I am reluctant to come to devotee's house for the prasad. Then the devotee was spellbound. One side he was great austere man, the other side he was so knowledgeable man or scholastic person, and the other side is he is so much giving value to that prasad or from devotional temperament, whatever you say. The devotee was spellbound, and he prostrated, he paid his respects, and he said, okay, Maharaj, that's we accept. Now you see simple incident. So Maharaj was asked again and again, you come and have a prasad, and he said no. Finally, what is the reason? Because he didn't want, or he doesn't want to miss the ashrama prasad either afternoon or night. So, one small incident, and we cannot understand even a monk, then how can we understand an incarnation and his life or his teachings or his mission? And similarly, like this, I can give many examples. Probably one more example I would like to give, this which happened in Kashi. Swami Brahmananji was the president and Swami Shardanji was the general secretary. In our Kashi Sevashrama, there was some problems, administration problems. So Brahmananji sent one of the monk, his own disciple also he was. He sent a monk and he said, "You go and try to fix the problem." Then the monk went and he was trying to discuss and he was trying to solve. Then, while discussing, some of the suggestions was given by this guest monk. The monks from the Kashi Sevashrama, they all listened, but some of them, they didn't listen. Then he was thinking what to do, what to do. Then finally, he used a last arrow that I belong to the imperial army. Means I belong to close quarters of Swami Brahmananji. If you don't listen to me, I'm going to complain about you. Then you will have a tough time. So in that sense, he used I belong to the imperial army. But he used that last weapon. But still, that also didn't work, and the problem didn't solve completely. So Swami Brahmanji and Swami Shardanji, both of them, they came, or Swami Brahmanji came especially to Kashi Sevashrama to solve the problem. And as soon as the monk, the disciple monk, who came and he came and he paid his respects, immediately Brahmanji said, "Oh, you belong to Imperial Army." The monk was shocked because he didn't inform anyone. It was only in private for it, the in charge monk he had told. So how Brahmanji knows? Because of his spiritual power or occult powers, he has come to know that he understood. Apart from this, Swami Brahmanji made a beautiful statement. If you want to be a part of the imperial army, just if you say that you are the part of the imperial army, it is not enough. You have to sit on the father's shoulder and you have to see the spiritual empire. You have to understand who is the father, and you have to sit on his shoulder and you have to see the entire spiritual empire. Then something you will understand. Otherwise, just you are the part of the imperial army, by saying you, it is not enough. And for that, you have to do some sadhana. And when you sit on your father's lap and when you see the spiritual empire, then the grace will follow and his teachings will follow and the spirituality will follow and whatnot. So understand the master's teachings and try to put into practice. Then only you are the part of you can be the part of the imperial army. So it is a small incidents, but we very profound insights we do get it. And one more interesting story which I remember is Mahapurush Maharaj's life, Swami Shivanji's life. He was the second president of the Ramakrishna Math and mission, and he was also the monastic disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Once he was afternoon, probably it was 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. He's sitting in the Belur Mat in his room, and he was in deep meditation. I imagine afternoon 2 or 3 p.m. he was in deep meditation. After some time, when his mind came down, he started looking out from his window. And whoever visited Belur Mat, you know that there is a mango tree below that Swamiji used to sit, and they used to have a lot of conversations. There are a lot of memories involved in that. Swami Shivanji, from his window, he's seeing the mango tree and he's saying that, look, if I wish, or if a desire comes in my mind, that at the moment I can give the liberation, mukti, even to this mango tree. No, mango tree. How mango tree can get mukti? It is not a human being. Yes, but the mango tree has got also life. Even today science has accepted. So Swami Shivanji is saying that if I think, if a desire comes or a wish comes in my mind, even I can give liberation to this mango tree. And not only that, just if I look at someone intently, then I can, at the spur of moment, I can give mukti for anyone. So to that extent, I have grown, and so much spiritual energy has been formed or has been developed in me, he says. One side. And the other side is saying that I am not the Ishvara Koti. Only five disciples of Sri Ramakrishna were Ishvara Kotis. And I'm a Jiva Koti, but because of Sri Ramakrishna's grace, from Jiva Koti, I have raised myself to Ishvara Koti, he says. So these are all very simple words, it looks like. And we might have read, when we read the reminiscences of Swami Shivanji, we all go through all these things. But when we go deep and when we start thinking about all these things, we'll be able to understand the efficacy of Sri Ramakrishna's mission, or Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, or Sri Ramakrishna's message. And the wonderful example, one more probably I would like to give, is Mahendranath Gupta, who is the author of Gospel of Ramakrishna. When before he came to Sri Ramakrishna, because of the family problem, he was thinking that he would like to end his life. Means he had a suicidal tendency, that I want to end my life, I don't want enough. So for that matter, he wanted to go dead night, but somehow his wife didn't allow, and his wife also accompanied. That's how he had to postpone. Finally, when he came into contact with Sri Ramakrishna, accidentally came into contact with Sri Ramakrishna, and he started hearing the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. And the person who wanted to end his life, who had a suicidal tendency, the same person who came into contact with Sri Ramakrishna and he received the blessings or the message from Sri Ramakrishna, then he became the Atma Gnani, or Atma Hanana. Hanana means killing. He wanted to kill himself, end his life himself. That Atma Hanana person, he became an Atma Gnani. He became the knower of the self. So the immortal gospel of Sri Ramakrishna's words changed his life, his mindset, and whatnot. So when we read all these stories, probably we'll be able to connect the dots. When I say why Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings are very deep in nature, and if you have to go deeply, then only you'll be able to understand. Probably, I think this is an answer for her question. And again, this is told by Sharat Maharaj himself, that is Swami Shardanji. Anyone who reflects deeply on the master's ordinary everyday conduct and on the teachings would be amazed to discover profound meanings in them. See, here we have to mark the words. One is who reflects deeply. Not simply. Deeply, we have to reflect on master's ordinary, everyday conduct. And it is something extraordinary is not telling. Everyday's ordinary conduct and on his teachings. And what will happen? They discover profound meanings in them. And this is, and Shardanji, whenever he brings lot of backup from the Shastras, from the scriptures. And he says, this is common for all the avatars, all the incarnations. And he also uses what is the nature of the teachings of the incarnations. Their simple language and short similes contain so much wisdom and have so much power to elevate ordinary human beings to the highest ideal. Swami Shivanji's life we can take, or Mahendranath Gupta's, Yam's life itself we can take. Human beings to the highest ideal that we have not been able to fathom their depths over thousands of years. The more we study their teachings, the deeper are the meanings we find. I think Shardanji uses a beautiful word in Bengali, ati gambhir or gabire he uses. The more we meditate on them, the higher our minds soar, leaving the impermanent and inauspicious world. All the great teachers reached the same ultimate truth, but they expressed in different terms, that is, attainment of the supreme goal, or established in Brahman, or liberation, or vision of God. So we can see the divine, we can experience the divine, we can experience the God, we can experience the self, or we can attain that. That is the central core of every incarnation's teaching. And when you read, when you study deeply, what happens? The more we study or meditate on them, the higher our minds soar. Because of that, leaving the impermanent and inauspicious world. Leaving means what? Means we should shun away or we should renounce. No. At least mental attachment will fall away and we get detached. So when Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, when you read, when you study, and slowly if it keeps on having an effect on your life, what happens? Slowly you get detached from the world. That doesn't mean that you have to get away from the world. You are in the world. Whatever the responsibility you are handling, whatever the work we are having, all of them we can have, but we will be in the detached manner. I think probably I can give one of the simple best example is we had a recently the holy visit of Swami Suitanji Maharaj, who was one of the vice president. He was a general secretary, and he had been to one of the branch center for visit and give a talk. And it was a evening Vespers time, and he was about to go to temple. Suddenly, a young monk came running and said, Swamiji, in some particular ashrama, there is some problem. It seems there is a huge problem, very serious problem. So you should look into it. You should come and you should look into it. Maharaj listened to everything and he said, all right. And simply he went to Arati. He finished his Arati, he finished his meditation, and before going to food, he called that monk and said, you were saying something. What is that? You tell me now. So his mind was completely, because there's the time where he wanted to keep on the guard or whatever. So he had fixed his mind with the guard. He didn't bother. Afterwards, he heard, and whatever he is supposed to do as a general secretary, he did. So basically, they're holding such a responsibilities, but still they are able to live the detached life, or they're able to handle so much responsibilities without disturbance in the mind. Why? Because they are detached from the world, or detached from the power and position. So this is possible for every one of us. Either you are a monk or a mendicant or a householder or a CEO of a company or an employee or employer. Every one of us, we can live in the world. We can do all our works as we were doing. Similarly, we can continue. But in spite of that, we can live, we can have the God-centered life. And he also says, we cannot find any exception to this. What is that? It is very esoteric and very great, etc. In the words and conduct of the master. Previously, we had a limited understanding of his sayings, but now we find such profound meaning in those same sayings. And for to illustrate or to explain further, I would like to cite only one example, that is Girish Chandra Ghosh completely surrendered to Sri Ramakrishna. No, again. So I will be taking and discussing this Girish Chandra Ghosh, what do you say, that one story of my whole lecture probably. Now, whoever has read Gospel of Ramakrishna, whoever has read Great Master, or whoever has read Sri Ramakrishna's life in detail, most of you know the incident of Girish Chandra Ghosh. So I will not be going to detail, but here and there I'll pick up few lines or pick up few points, and I will be discussing. Then ourselves we can understand our understanding how it was deep, or it was better, or it will be better. See, he's telling, Swami is telling, Girish Chandra Ghosh completely surrendered to him, that is Sri Ramakrishna, one day and asked, Sir, what shall I do from now on? So Girish Chandra Ghosh, he is surrendered completely to Sri Ramakrishna and is asking, Sir, what shall I do from now on? So after surrendering his mind, he is asking, what should I do now? And Sri Ramakrishna said, and Sri Ramakrishna is telling beautifully, do just what you are doing now. So like he was an artist, and he was also a owner of the film theater. So whatever you are doing in your as a responsibility or a work or a job in the mundane life, you continue. So now this is the great assurance for all of us, because when we come to spiritual life, should we leave our job? Should we leave our responsibilities? These questions we come. Now Sri Ramakrishna is telling very clearly, do just what you are doing now. So continue your responsibilities. Okay. But hold on to God with one hand and to the world with the other. Now, this again is a simple one line statement, but that is enough for our entire life. How to live the God centered life, living in the world or living in the mundane world. Sri Ramakrishna is saying, do whatever you are doing. So, if you are a CEO company, you continue. If you are an IT employee, you continue. Or if you are a professor, you continue. If you are a monk, you continue your job. But hold on to God with one hand and to the world with the other. What a great statement. Means hold on one hand to the world and the other hand to the God means what? Leaving the mundane life and discharging our responsibilities, we can lead God-centered life. This has been told very clearly by Master. So how to live in the world? How to live in the world? This is a great question, big question for all of us. For that, Sri Ramakrishna is telling very clear, straightforward answer. Hold on the God with the one hand, and in the other hand, you start keep on working. And for that, Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example in a gospel. Like a lady, she's taking care of a child, and at the same time she's doing a business in her shop, and in the other simultaneously she's also, what do you say, uh, doing the beating the puffed rice or the beaten rice. So she's adding slowly that paddy, and she's also husking it, and at the same time she's also, whenever the people come, she's doing business. Okay, you take 1 kg or 2 kg or 5 kg. Okay, give the money and tender the exchange the money or whatever, and at the same time she's also feeding her son or daughter. So 3 4 work simultaneously she's doing, but she's able to do. Why? Because by practice or whatever. So similarly, one can do their mundane work, and also at the simultaneously we can also hold on our mind to God. Now when we hear this, immediately we get a question: how is it possible, Swamiji? Because from dawn to dusk, when we take care of our work, we get exhausted and we get tired and our mind get restless. In that, at that, with that mindset, how can we meditate? Even we wish to meditate, we cannot meditate most of the time. This is a age-old problem for all of us. Swami Brahmanji says, it is not because of the work we cannot meditate, it is because of the restlessness of the mind or the desires. You are doing a lot of work. Because of that, it is not that we cannot meditate. It is because of the restlessness of the mind you are not able to meditate. And that restlessness of the mind is why? Because of the desires. Now, eventually, and if you continue, hold on to the God with one hand and to the world with the other. If you continue, what happens? Or if you do perform, if you practice, what happens? Sri Ramakrishna is telling beautifully. Eventually, when one side, that is the world, falls to pieces, whatever is ordained to happen will happen. So you are holding on one side to the world, in one hand to the God, and if you continue, what happens? Slowly, the world will fall into pieces. Again, what does it mean? The world will fall into pieces means you get detached from the world. You get detached from the things. You get detached from the situations or from the people or from the things. So you will have a God-centered life, but you'll be doing a work. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. The world will fall into pieces. Because of that, my prarabdha does change? No, he's telling whatever is ordained to happen will happen. Because of your previous actions, its results, karma phala, fruits of action, you are supposed to enjoy. Favorable circumstances you are supposed to experience, or you are supposed to experience unfavorable circumstances to a certain extent or to larger extent, that may continue. But even if it continues, the reaction in your mind lessens, reduces. Peace of mind will be attained. Calmness and composedness will be attained, and you'll be able to have the God-centered life. And after saying this, the master looked at Girish as if waiting for the reply. Now, before that, he's telling whatever is ordained to happen will happen. And now he is giving a spiritual practice. He's giving a simple spiritual practice. At a minimum, think of God in the morning and evening. One is, Sri Ramakrishna said, hold on to God in one hand, hold on to the world one other. And if you continues, the world will fall. Okay. And whatever is supposed to happen, it will happen for you. Now for that, what you are supposed to do? Minimum morning and evening, try to remember the God. We all know this. Now you see, I only discussed 4 lines till now. If you probably all of you or most of us, we might have read these things, but we have not given enough time or enough mind. That's why we were not able to understand. Now probably you'll be feeling, oh, these 4 lines have got so much impact, are so great, profound things. Now Sri Ramakrishna said this: minimum morning and evening, try to remember God. That is enough for your spiritual practice, or that is your spiritual practice. Now you see, if any my guru or the God or any a senior monk or anyone comes and says, okay, morning and evening you try to remember God, that is your spiritual practice. By that you'll be able to reach the God. If someone comes and says, we will say, oh, thank God, oh, that's all, I can do it, I will do it. And we will say, okay. And we understand Girish Chandra Ghosh said, no, I cannot do that. But Girish Chandra Ghosh really didn't see. That's what I'm saying, that when you read in between lines intently, you'll be able to understand. Generally, we have heard from so many lectures from many people, they say, oh, Girish Chandra Ghosh said that I don't know what will be my mindset, so I cannot do that. Girish Chandra Ghosh said, we thought, but no. And Swami Shardanj here, how beautifully, what is the thoughts going on in the Girish mind, so beautifully has narrated. Girish thought sadly, is not very happy and proud. He's thinking very sadly. The type of work I do does not allow me to keep fixed hours for bathing, eating, or sleeping. Why? Because he's very creative. He thinks, and whenever mood comes, he keeps on writing the poems or the plays and all. And he's also a drunkard. We all know that. So he doesn't have any routine life basically. And any creative people, definitely they will not have a routine life, most of them. Because whenever they get a mood, they start doing their work. So he is also of that nature. And he feels, I shall surely forget to remember God in the morning and evening because of his nature. This is very difficult situation. And if I disobey my Guru's order, I will incur sin, which will cause me harm. So, how can I make this promise? It is definitely wrong to fail to keep one's promise to a person in this world. How much worse it will happen if I cannot keep my promise to a person whom I have accepted as my spiritual guide. Now, none of the statements was made by Girish outspoken. He is thinking in his mind. So he's feeling guilty. He's not feeling proud or whatever. He's feeling guilty, but he feels at the same time, he's feeling helplessness. Girish was hesitant to express his thoughts. And again, he's reflecting in his own mind. Though the master did not ask me to do a very difficult task. If he had asked someone else to do this, the person would have gladly agreed to it right away. See, he also knows that if he had asked any other disciple, they would have said yes and thanked. Now, what should I do? As he reflected his own outgoing tendencies, he realized that it was beyond his capacity to practice even that little spiritual discipline. Why? One is a drunkard, he used to drink a lot, and he's intoxicated, not God intoxicated, wine intoxicated. So he don't know in what state he is there. And importantly, what is his nature? Shardanji beautifully explains through his own words. Again, he examines his own nature. He felt suffocated at the mere thought of being bound forever to a particular vow or to a rule. He knew he would have no peace of mind until that rule was broken. See, I mean, in the spiritual life, I mean, practice and detachment is very important. Practice, routines, very important. We all hear from our senior monks. Now, here, Girish Chandra Ghosh very beautifully, all these lines you know, but I'm just picking up lines and I'm just putting in front of you. And Girish is very clear, is very sincere, he's feeling guilty, and he says that what is my nature? One is in what condition I am there, at what time I don't know. First point. And second thing, my nature is I'm not a person who listens to anyone's order or instructions. I think on the lighter side, when Swami Ranganathanji had gone to West, I mean America probably, yes, USA, to give a lectures. After one of the lecture, in the Q&A session, one of the aspirant got up and said, Swami, you said we have to follow the rules, regulations, or routine or whatever. I think rules bring stress for us. So what are you going to say about it? Then, of course, it is on the lighter side. Swami said very beautifully, do you follow, toilet rules? He said, yes. Then does it bring stress? No. Then why do you think that this rules and regulations is like a fence which builds our life, which protects our life, protects our mind, and etc. So don't think in that way. I mean, on the lighter side. Now, Girish Chandra Ghosh's problem is also same thing. Because now you see, for an example, when we do, especially when we prepare for exams or for a project, even launching in a particular thing in a offices, we may have to work extra work for a 1 week or 2 weeks or a month or 3 months, for example. And especially when you are doing any research and PhDs and all, maybe 3, 4, 5 years you have to work hard. Once you do, then you are free. So in the stipulated time, in the regulated time, you have to work more. So whether you like or not, whatever it may be, we will all do. Now the spiritual life is what? Like my Gurudev used to tell always, there is no holiday in spiritual life. So now he has to meditate morning and evening. Till when? Till having a realization of God, or till his death, or till we don't know. So it is not 1 day or 2 day. Every day he has to do till death at least. So Girish Chandra Ghosh's nature is what? He doesn't want to follow any rules, and he feels so happy and blissful the moment he breaks the rule. That is his nature now. And this has had happened all through his life. He had no problem doing good or bad according to his will, but the moment he felt that he was under any sort of compulsion to do any work, his mind would rebel and turn away from doing it. Realizing his own powerless and helpless condition, he humbly kept quiet, unable to say either I shall do so or I cannot. How beautifully Swami Shardananji has narrated Girish Chandra Ghosh's life and his mind. So many times it's our mind also. We want to meditate morning and evening, or we want to do some spiritual practices, etc. But we don't want to do. Like I want to do, my mind doesn't want to do. Why? Because we feel it is very heavy, or it is binding, and it is stressful, and etc. etc. Untamed mind behaves always. And same thing with the Girish Chandra Ghosh. This is a problem for all of us. And now you can understand how Sri Ramakrishna had to tame people. That's why he was a hard task master, or he was a good master. But he didn't say, I will do or I will not do. I will do or I will not do. He didn't say, he kept quiet. Why? Because how could he shamelessly declare that he would not be able to perform such an easy task? And if he did admit this, how would the master and others react? They probably would not understand his utterly helpless condition and might think, without expressing it, that his silence was mere pretension. So Girish was silent. Master understood, and he came one step down and he said, well, Girish, if you cannot do that, then remember the God before you eat and before you sleep. So instead of thinking morning and evening, before you eat and before you sleep, just you remember God. Now Sri Ramakrishna came one more step down and he's giving one more simple spiritual practice. But Girish remained silent. He wondered how could he do even that? Because sometimes he ate lunch at 1 a.m. 10 a.m. and sometime at 5 p.m. And again, irregularity continued even with his dinner. So he is troubled with litigation. Sometimes he is troubled with the litigations. So he would not realize that he was eating at all. He would then be anxiously thinking, I have not received confirmation that the fee I sent to the barrister reached him on time. If he cannot appear in court as scheduled, it will be a disaster, and so on. In truth, if such an occasion occurred, and it was not impossible, then on that day, he would certainly forget to think of God. Now, Girish was an embarrassing situation, we all know that, but he remained calm and silent, and he didn't react. Then Sri Ramakrishna himself, with a smiling face, he said, so you are unwilling to agree even to this. All right. Give me your power of attorney. Immediately, the master went into ecstasy. The ecstasy, which is what Bhavamukha. Sri Ramakrishna is asking, okay, all right, even you can't do this simple thing. You give me your power of attorney for me. Saying that, Sri Ramakrishna went to that ecstasy. Ecstasy is what Bhavamukha. Again, this Bhavamukha is the source of the creation, that is the state of Ishvara. When such sentence was heard, Girish liked it and he felt is greatly relieved. In front of people, he need not to say that I cannot do that. Very common thing which we can. No, he was overwhelmed, thinking Sri Ramakrishna's infinite compassion. He was overwhelmed, his heart also feeling very happy, and his love faith towards Sri Ramakrishna increased. And he thought, what a relief! I will not be trapped by any bondage of rules, which are like dreadful tigers to me. So, in between lines, I'm sitting. He's thinking now. Now he need not to do any more effort for in the name of spiritual practices or disciplines, and Sri Ramakrishna will do for him. And Master would use his power, own power, to remove all worldly thoughts from his mind. So, for example, someone what do you say? Every month they are adding some money for my bank account, and just I'm using the credit card or debit card whenever I want to purchase whatever I desire. If something happens, similar thing happens in our life, we'll all feel happy, most of us. So like that now, Girish is also feeling that Sri Ramakrishna has taken my responsibility. I need not do any spiritual practice, I need not to follow any disciplines, and all my bad thoughts, worldly thoughts, everything will be taken care by Sri Ramakrishna. But Girish did not realize. Beingly, he put a noose of love around his own neck that was 100 times stronger than the bondage of rules, which he considered unbearable. Then slowly, then what happened? Slowly, his mind got transformed. Girish himself says that I never knew it is such a great responsibility giving power of autonomy to someone else, because he was unable to say, I will do this, I can do this, I will not do this. Why? So is it a state of what you say slavery? No. Here's the thing, which was simple thing. Again, Swami Yatishwaranji, one of the vice president of our Ramakrishna order, he was known for his spiritual advancement, and he was also known as Brahmagnani. One day, a devotee, or maybe young chap or a devotee, he went and he approached Maharaj and said, Swamiji, how to get rid of the ego? This is a common question with many of us. We do ask this. He also asked, how to get rid of the ego? And he gave us such a beautiful answer, Swami Tishwanji. First, develop a healthy ego. See, the question was how to get rid of the ego. Now, Vedishwanji is saying, develop healthy ego. What does it mean? Very contrast. Opposites, pair of opposites, we feel that. What does it mean? So when Yadishwanji is saying that develop the healthy ego, means what? Develop first self-confidence. I can do this. I can do that. Yes, I can complete this task. I can perform this task. I can meditate every day, or I can do everyday walking or exercise or whatever. So in our own ways, we have to develop the self-confidence. Okay. So self-confidence, not the pride or unnecessary egos. Here, healthy ego means self-confidence. That's the first level. Afterwards, slowly, we have to develop a particular bhava mood, that I am the child of master. I am the child, I am the son or the daughter, or I am the servant, or I am the friend, or I am the mother or father of the God, or I'm the self from the knowledge point of view. So that bhava, that mood has to be intensified slowly from the spiritual aspect. Self-confidence is a base for everyone, for every either spiritual life or mundane life. Slowly, then we have to develop a particular mood. It might look ego for some to certain extent for some people, but when this mood gets intensified, then that slowly the spiritually will be intensified and it will be turned into ripened ego. So I think Sri Ramakrishna himself says very clearly in the gospel that I am the devotee, I'm the child of the mother, or I am the devotee of the mother. I have kept that as a ripened ego. Shankaracharya had kept the ripened ego. I am the gnani, I am the wise person. So that was a ripened ego again. So we have to go step by step in that way. And now why I'm selling that, now you will get I have given this background because for some reason, now, slowly, the power of attorney was given to Sri Ramakrishna, and slowly there is a change in Girish Chandra Ghosh's life and his mind. And what is the change? Swami Shardanand has beautifully portrayed. Girish Chandra Ghosh started developing that no matter what came into his life, good or bad, praise or blame, joy or suffering, he would be able to do nothing but silently bear it. So whatever the pair of opposites, they are coming and they are going. He is not able to do anything. Neither is able to stop, nor is able to seek, nor is able to avoid. Just is supposed to bear it, and he slowly is getting into the witness mode instead of reactive mode. All other thoughts disappeared from his mind, and he felt only the infinite grace of Sri Ramakrishna. One is he started developing, his mind started developing the witness from the part of from the external world and actions, and internally, slowly, his mind is forced to remember Sri Ramakrishna and his infinite grace, and all other thoughts are getting away. And his ego swelled 100-fold because of this relationship with Sri Ramakrishna. His ego swelled 100-fold because of this relationship with Sri Ramakrishna. What ego that is? That is a ripened ego, that I am the devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, or I am the recipient of the love of Sri Ramakrishna. It's a ripened ego. And he started thinking, let people say whatever they like about me. Let them look down upon me. The master is mine always and in all circumstances. What else is needed? Of whom should I be afraid? Now, see, he's not, I mean, it is not that he's insensitive. It doesn't mean that whatever he thinks he's doing and is arrogant or whatever is not that, but is unperturbed from the people, from the people's reactions, from the people images. It is not that again insensitive or arrogance, but he is transcending all these mundane affairs. And he has got so much confidence and so much fearlessness, abhaya, because he has got Sri Ramakrishna's abhaya, grace. Now he is feeling that Sri Ramakrishna is protecting me, Sri Ramakrishna is taking care of me, then why should I fear? For what should I fear? While he was eating, lying, or sitting, he had only one thought: Sri Ramakrishna has taken full responsibility for me. He could not realize that his thoughts was constantly making his mind meditate on Sri Ramakrishna and putting the master's impression on every one of his actions and thoughts, changing him radically. He was very happy because he knew that Sri Ramakrishna loved him and that he was more than his own. So he came with a surrendered mind, but at the same time he understood that his helpless nature. That's how the God's grace, divine grace, flowed on him. And when he was the recipient of the divine grace, then what happened? Completely, he became a saint. God-centered life he started living. He was continuing all his mundane activities, no doubt, but internally he had a God-centered life. So now here, again, if you go deeply with this incident, the self-effort and divine grace, or the will and the grace, there's a beautiful understanding from this one simple incident. Many of us, many times we say, oh, everything is God's will. Very conveniently, we keep on saying it. Whenever good happens, whenever favorable circumstances are there, whenever success comes, I say, it is because of Shantivratananda. Yes, at least I may not say in outside, but I will think it's a natural for all of us. And when things doesn't go properly and things is beyond our logic, beyond our understanding, what to do? Whatever God thinks, whatever God wills, Master wills, let it happen. Where conveniently we oscillate between both of them. But really, have we surrendered? To really surrender, what happens? To really surrender to the God or to the Guru, what should happen actually? We should understand the limitations of our intellect or our efforts, and we should feel really helplessness. Now you see, we started with this Girish Chandra Ghosh. First and foremost, he has surrendered to Sri Ramakrishna, and he's asking, what shall I do now? And Sri Ramakrishna gave spiritual practices, and he didn't say no, but he felt very clearly he is helpless and he cannot do even that. So he understood his helplessness, and the total surrender was there in the effect. As a result, complete grace from the God flowed upon. We may say, I surrender to you, O Thakur, Sri Ramakrishna. I surrender to you, O God. I surrender to the divine will, or almighty, omniscience, omnipotent. We may say lip service, but really in the heart of heart, have we surrendered completely? How much ever we tell, once in a while it comes, but it doesn't become complete. Till then, we struggle, we faced hardships, we faced struggles, and we understand that we have tested our boundaries, and more than this, nothing we can do. And when we understand that real helplessness, then only the real surrender comes. Even you see very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita. In the first chapter, Arjuna gave a lecture to Krishna, and Krishna sat simply and he was listening. And Krishna knew very clearly whatever logics, without having a background, if you study the first chapter, everything, sociological angle, from society, sociological angle, if you study, Krishna is so beautiful, so nice, so clear. And why did Krishna confuse him? That's what we feel. That's how some pseudo intellectuals make a comment on that, make a statement. But it is not so. But when you say, कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभाव पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेताः यच्रेयस्यानिश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. I am really confused what is right and what is wrong to me. I'm really confused. I'm unable to decide. So please, I surrender at you. Accept me as your disciple and instruct me what should I do and what should I not do. So there also you see Arjuna, he was again Maharati. Maharati means who is capable of fighting with 10,000 people. And that Arjuna, he has completely surrendered to Krishna, Lord Krishna, though he's a friend. Then only actual Bhagavad Gita started. Then only Ashocha and Vashochastvam started. So in the surrender, what happens? Whatever is possible, we have to do, we have to practice. And the moment when we understand our limitations properly and we have tested our boundary, more than this we cannot do, then real surrender happens. Our egos gets, unripened ego gets melted, and we will get real surrender achieved, and God's grace will flow beautifully. That's what we can say in in a Girish Chandra Ghosh life. Because many times we think, I pray to Master, I pray to God, but I'm not getting complete grace. I'm not getting complete blessings, and things are not happening in whatever way I wish. All these things we keep our own understandings. But here, actually, if we make a self-analysis, we know that we have not done enough practices. We have not made enough efforts. When you do that, your mindset, your understanding will be different, and there will be emotional maturity. Now, and again he says, once Girish said, I shall do this. Regarding some trifling matter in the master's presence, Sri Ramakrishna's presence, Girish said, I shall do this. Immediately the master said, what is this? You must not talk in the dogmatic way. Suppose you fail to do it, say, I shall do this if God wills. I shall do this if God wills. Girish understood that is right. When I have given all of my responsibilities to God and he has accepted them, I shall be able to do that work if he thinks that I should, and that is good for me. The same thing we can see in Sri Ramakrishna's life also. If anyone comes, oh, please bless me, etc., most of them, including Naren's case. When Naren came with all his financial problems because its father passed away and mother and elder sisters and younger brothers had a square meal was difficult. He strived a lot. He tried to get a job. He was not able to get a good job, and basically life was too difficult. Monetary problems was there. And he struggled enough and he was tired once. And young Naren, that Swami Vivekananda had iron will, but still he was tired, you see. And he comes and he asks Sri Ramakrishna, please do something. And if you tell to mother, Bhavatarini, that is Kali, she will accept. So why don't you say? And Sri Ramakrishna very beautifully, very innocently says, oh, I told to mother, universal mother, and she says that you don't accept her. That's the reason she is not taking care of you. As if she needs his young Naren certificate. But poor Naren also believed in it, and he said, what should I do now? And Sri Ramakrishna said, it's an auspicious day today. Why don't you go yourself and ask? And poor young Naren, he went, and when he went there, he couldn't ask for money, he couldn't ask for anything. He only asked for devotion, he only asked for renunciation, he only asked for supreme knowledge. He came back. And Sri Ramakrishna asked, did you ask? Naren said, oh, my dear, I forgot. Sri Ramakrishna, what fool you are. When you go and in front of mother, you can't remember what you want to go. What fool you are. Go. Once more you go. And young Naren went. Second time also he forgot. And again he asked for Bhakti, Gnana, Vairagya, and he came back. Sri Ramakrishna asked. Naren said, sorry, I forgot. Then again Ramakrishna rebuked him and he said, what? You remember. You should remember this and you go and ask. On third time, at least he was able to remember, but he was unable to ask. He felt that going to a king and asking for a pumpkin, how foolish. Similarly, going to mother and asking for the materialistic benefits, it is very trivial. So he asked for Gnana Bhakti Viveka Vairagya and he came back. He couldn't ask actually. And when Sri Ramakrishna asked, no, I couldn't ask. And then he understood it is all Sri Ramakrishna's play. And and he ordered Sri Ramakrishna said, now you should promise me or you should do something. And Sri Ramakrishna said, what shall I do? No, I need only one square meal for my age-old mother and my elder sisters and younger brothers. That's all I want. I don't want anything else, riches. So please bless. And even then, Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, let be the mother's will. So if mother wills, let it happen. Okay, he can do, he's an incarnation, he's a prophet, he can bless, he can create even the entire creation. He had that power, but he's telling that if mother wills, let it happen, as the mother's will may be. So here again, it is a testimony, it is an example for all of us, how a person who has got a ripened ego, how he behaves. When a person, one who has merged himself with the universal consciousness, how one can behave. That is a test, that's a life lesson for all of us. Then, quite a few days over, the master left his mortal coil. Girish faced grief and pain as he also lost his wife and son. But every point, his mind reminded him as before. Sri Ramakrishna has allowed these things to happen because they are good for you. You gave your responsibility to him and he accepted it. He did not give you any written assurance regarding the path on which he would lead you. Now you see, complete surrender. After Sri Ramakrishna's grace and Sri Ramakrishna has taken his complete responsibility, all that fine. Sri Ramakrishna assured all this fine. Sri Ramakrishna left, passed away, and Girish Chandra Ghosh lost his own wife and his own son. Losing a wife and son, it is not an easy moment for all of us, for any of us. And he also had a grief and all. Even at that spur of moment, Girish's mind is telling that Sri Ramakrishna didn't assure you, didn't give you certificate, everything will be proper, everything will be profitable or whatever. So whatever it comes, you have to accept. This is called prasada buddhi. Ishwararpana buddhi, we say, when the Ishwararpana buddhi happens, this is what we are going to get, we will get it, prasada buddhi. Prasada buddhi means what? We are equal, whatever comes, we receive, we accept, and we don't react. Again, it is not an insensitivity, you are transcending all the dualities. This is what the prasada buddhi, or agnani's lakshana, sthita pragnasya lakshana. Then regarding this, when it was asked by a devotee, Swami Shardananji, Girish Chandra Ghosh says, there is still much to understand about Sri Ramakrishna. Did I realize then that there was so much mystery in the power of attorney? Now I see that there is a limit to the time one must spend practicing meditation, japa, and austerities. But the work of a person who has given the power of attorney is unending. Now he has to watch every step and with every breath determine whether he is depending on God and performing those actions by his power or by his own rascal ego. This is what the understanding of the Girish. Now you see, only one incident I took, probably, line by line, or if not completely, major portion of the story I took and I started reading and I started explaining or discussing. So most of you whoever read and studied, the whole story you know that, but in between lines understanding and the life lessons what you can take, probably you will start understanding, yes. So these people's life and teachings is not an easy book like a reading novel. I'm not asking, I'm not making fearful or whatever. Only I'm saying that when you are reading, don't take it lightly, don't take it for granted. Rather, try to have some questions, raise some questions with yourself, and try to read with intention, with a good intention, with a concentration, and etc. Then you will be able to understand these things properly. And all these questions, one more question may come, Swamiji, you are a monk, you don't have any other work. And we are householders, we have got a lot of responsibilities. We can't spend more time on this thing. What should we do? I said, yes, we have got a lot of responsibilities. We do understand. If you don't want much in the spiritual progress, yes, well and good. And if you want more in deep, you have to spend time, you have to spend your energy on this. Now, when you read like this, probably you might have read 2, 3 pages, never mind, and a one story or one anecdote, and you contemplate, you can get lot of life lessons for your life. How to behave, how to interact, how to act, how to react, what to do and what not to do. All these life lessons you'll get from one incident and one thing. And one of the story, or even I think these are the questions quite a few people have asked about for me. Some of you also might have this question. How do we understand that we are studying Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings? And how do we understand that we are understanding them properly or we are going further? Say either you have read Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads or Master's Gospel or his life and teachings or any other great man's life and teachings. For example, any prophet or incarnation's life and teachings. If you have made a study, then what happens when a problem comes in your life? When a situation comes, crisscross situations comes in your life, the life and teachings of these great masters and the scriptures will come to your rescue. I've read in Bhagavad Gita, I've read in Sri Ramakrishna's life, I read in Holy Mother's life, I read in Saint Francis of Assisi's life. So they have said like this, they behave like this. So probably this can be the life lesson for me even now to take up. So this can be the testimony for us whether how we have studied and how much we have tried to understand. So may Sri Ramakrishna bless all of us so that we shall understand their teachings in more and more in deep, and so that it will reflect upon our life and character, and so that we can go near to the God and we can have the God-centered life. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.